Peace, 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 and prosperity to the family. Peace, prosperity, and progression. Peace means freedom from disturbance. Progression means wealth, health, abundance, success, opulence, great fortune, great luck. And progression means advancing to a higher level state of consciousness. Now, I'm going to talk about the government. I'm going to share a few things some notes that I actually wrote back in 2017. How old was I when I wrote these? July 2017, I believed I had just turned 23 years old. So you're about to see some notes that a young 23-year-old brother, this is how I was thinking, 2.5 years ago. This is how I was thinking, almost 3 years ago. True organization. True organization involves 1. An effective collaboration of high integrity partners who share a conscious, viable agenda and whose individual skill sets and knowledge complement the group. 2. An effective system to compensate the group. So a true organization involves an effective collaboration, an effective partnership, an effective team of high integrity partners. These partners must have a high level of integrity, and they must also share a conscious, viable agenda. This is a viable agenda. This is a doable agenda, an achievable agenda that they must all be conscious of. They must all be aware of, not just unconsciously, but they must know what their agenda is. They must know what their achievable, feasible, doable, viable agenda is. And they must have individual skill sets and knowledge to complement everyone else in the group. They must complement each other. They must not be able to achieve the goal without each other. That is the glue that keeps the team together. And 2, an effective system to compensate the group. So not only in order to have true organization, you need to have an effective team, an effective collaboration of high integrity partners who share a conscious, viable agenda and whose individual skill sets and knowledge complement the group. In order to be a true organization, you have to have an effective system to compensate that group. That group has to get paid. They must be able to profit together. Teamwork plus capital equals true organization. So an organization ain't just a team. An organization is a team that gets paid. You feel me? A team that gets paid, that profits, that wins and grows and elevates together. Gets more powerful and powerful as they tackle new challenges. The money allows you to create power through the formation of an organized, world-class group of individuals who share common agendas and worldviews. There is always opportunity to make the kind of progress we want to. No single group rules the world we live in. The most powerful organizations on the planet are run by teams. The government is a business, and shares in the government are sought after by multiple organizations with contrasting agendas. All we have to do is secure a bag and then ally ourselves with the organizations and individuals that share our goals. It's not complicated. What makes it difficult is that people who have the greatest intentions for the world suck at capitalism. Power is the goal. Social control is the strategy of how power is achieved. Control of history and control of beliefs and control of resources is how power is protected. 4 steps to profound achievement. 1. Secure a bag. 2. Pool bag with others who secured a bag that share our worldview. 3. Capture assets in underperforming cash flow systems in a down market, aka a recession. 4. Endorse the campaigns of individuals that are in alignment with the direction that we want to move society in. This is how the government works, ladies and gentlemen. The government is composed of, quote unquote, 3 branches of government. You have your judicial branch, You have your legislative branch and you have your executive branch. Your executive branch is your president and those sort of themes. Your legislative branch is your Congress and those sort of themes. And your judicial branch is your Supreme Court and those sort of themes. Now, those are the three branches of government, but that is not the whole government in totality. That is just the worker bee section of the government. The grand government, the real government, is actually a group of private individuals who own, control wealth, and power. You guys know this already. You're just being reminded. Um, yeah, figure it out. Put two and two together. What I just read. I'm gonna read this last story in a minute. But yeah, figure it out. Understand that everything is by design. There's no fucking accidents. Everything that happens is by design. Everything that happens, motherfuckers has been planning this shit. They knew it was gonna happen, and they induced it to happen. For example, poverty is by design. It ain't no coincidence that 90% of the available wealth in the world is privately held. There's no coincidence to that. You know what I'm saying? There's no coincidence. I'm not printing money. You ain't printing money. So who's printing the money? You know what I'm saying? Because banks use a system called fractional reserve banking where they only have to keep a percentage of the. So for example, if the government has the fractional reserve um, rate at 10%, then that means that banks only have to have 10% of any money amount requested from them to their name in their vault, which basically means that if I want to take out $1 million loan from a bank and their Federal Reserve rate is at 10%, then all they have to do is have $100,000 to their name in order to lend me $1 million. Who are they borrowing from to get that money? You know what I'm saying? Imagine if you and I could do that. Imagine if you wanted to borrow money from me and say, you know what I'm saying, you wanted to borrow $1 million from me, and all I had to do was have $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000. You get what I'm saying? Imagine I could give you $1 million only having $100,000 to my name. You know what I'm saying? Shit's crazy. So that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's how the banking system kind of works. The banks make money by investing the money that you have in your checking account in the stock market. So they invest it repeatedly into the stock market, and they generate returns that way. The money that you see in your checking account, it's never still, it's never stagnant. It's always being moved. It's always doing something. The larger accounts, they may use larger accounts to actually make loans and lend money out. So, for example, accounts that are $100,000, 500,000, a million, accounts like that. Um, they'll lend, they'll use those accounts to lend money out, and when they lend money out, they lend money at interest. Interest is how banks generate revenue for themselves. They also sell debt obligations wholesale to investors. So that means that I can have $1 million loan from a bank. I could be paying 10% interest on that loan per year. The term could be I got to pay that $1 million back in 10 years, plus plus the interest. These guys want they usually want their interest back first. Um, so 10% per year, you know what I'm saying? Damn, that's damn near $2 million I owe the bank. You know what I'm saying? So if the banks wanted to make the money real quick, then they would just tell an investor, "Hey, we got a guy who owes us $2 million, and we're gonna receive that money in 10 years. Why don't you come buy this and make that extra million, for yourself? Just pay us motherfucking 500,000. Just pay us pay us 1.4 million, and you can get the 600,000 in addition on top of that in income, over that period of time." So that's how banks will do it. I don't want to confuse motherfuckers, but Look, man, basically all this shit is by design. I ain't no motherfucking mistakes. Ain't no coronavirus. And that shit ain't no mistake. You know what I'm saying? This shit is planned. You know, feel me? It ain't no mistake. Why are the richest companies no longer American companies? Why are all their operating entity headquarters currently located in Europe? So you got the holding companies, and then you have the operating entities of these organizations. And they move their operating entities over to Europe, over to Luxembourg, the UK. You feel me? These American companies are not even paying US taxes, they're paying European taxes. They're no longer American companies. They have left American soil. I'm talking Amazon, I'm talking Google, I'm talking Facebook, I'm talking Instagram, I'm talking YouTube, I'm talking LinkedIn, I'm talking Microsoft. All these companies are no longer American companies. These are the richest companies on the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? But why is Europe going through all this shit? Germany, Italy, why are they inflating these numbers? Why are they doing all of this? You know what I'm saying? Why are they, you feel me? It's interesting what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They want to make it seem they want us to feel sorry for Europe. You know what I'm saying? Europe is the richest and most powerful fucking continent. It's not even an actual continent by definition. You know what I'm saying? A continent is a large, massive land surrounded by water on, four sides. You know what I'm saying? Like Europe is not a motherfucking continent. You know what I'm saying? Europe wanted to be labeled a continent, for political power. Just like the Prime Meridian was moved from Egypt because the Prime Meridian, which is supposed to intersect with the Creator, the Prime Meridian is the longitudinal lines and the equator is the latitudinal lines. Um, the Prime Meridian was moved from Europe to go through London, England, to go through the UK because, England wanted the political power to say, hey, we are the chosen people. The Prime Meridian runs through our capital. So on your maps to this day, the Prime Meridian runs through Europe, and it's not even supposed to run through Europe. It's supposed to run through Egypt, because that's how the people of ancient Kemet, built the pyramids to align with the stars and align with the constellation. So your maps are actually wrong. You know what I'm saying? The maps that you have are wrong, and every year, the continent of Africa gets smaller on these maps. Digitally, they want us on these digital devices using Google Maps, and all the time they can manipulate where the roads are, where the lines are, how big the continents look in comparison. In reality, Africa can fit the United States, 5 times, easily fit the United States within, 5 times the U.S. But currently on the maps today, Africa can only fit the U.S. comfortably about 3 times, 3.5 times. So they're shrinking Africa on the map to make it look less significant. There's a lot of manipulative things that they're doing. They have us all in this technology so they can manipulate these lines anytime they fucking want to. Your maps are wrong. Your traditional maps are wrong. So if they're lying to you about where the prime meridian is, which is a very important line on the map to be able to tell your coordinates, if they're lying to you about that, what else are they lying to you about? A lot of this shit is motherfucking fake news. You know what I'm saying? You talk to people in the CIA, they'll tell you, like, yeah, we make fake news all the time because other countries are watching our news. So it's not so much to fool the fucking masses all the time, but let's fool the masses let's fool our enemies in other countries and continents at the price of fooling our own masses and keeping them dumb, deaf, and blind to what's really going on. This is a fact. This is a fact. This is a fact. You have no control over who the fucking president is. You only have control and voting power at the state level. So you focus on your mayors, your municipalities, your city officials, your governor, your state governor. Focus on the state level officials and vote no higher than that, because everything else is you automatically pledge an allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the republic. You know what I'm saying? Well, I haven't said that shit in so long, but we pledge allegiance to the republic, not the democracy. You know what I'm saying? that presidential shit is just a show. It's just to pacify y'all, to make y'all feel like you got power. I mean, and none of this is, all of this is public information. The president is actually chosen by an electoral board of senators. You know what I'm saying? That's how the president is actually chosen. The masses do not choose the president. They don't even rely on the masses for our public opinion. The only time your vote counts in America is when you're putting money behind the person you want in office. Personal dollars. You're signing checks and cutting checks. And none of y'all ain't doing that. So it doesn't make sense to vote. Stop wasting your time voting. It makes no fucking sense. That shit's just to make you feel good. Understand all these holidays and shit, it's just to make you feel good. A lot of these American holidays is based off of fucking, you know, pedophilic traditions, sacrificing children and butt raping them and shit, butt fucking children. You know what I'm saying? So the government even subsidizes, you know, pedophilic organizations, yo, and all this is public information. It's not shit that I'm making up. They have to tell you about this. It's just not disclosed. They tell you about it, but it's not disclosed. You have to look for this information. You know what I'm saying? So the impending recession that's about to happen, it's all by design. You know what I'm saying? You don't not teach people over the course of their lives. You don't keep people in school for 18 fucking years, 12 years of fucking school, not teach them how to make money, not teach them necessary life skills, not teach them how to have successful relationships with their divine complements. You don't not teach people the essential things they need to thrive and expect your people to thrive. This is all done on purpose. Motherfuckers know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how to time things. Remember, you don't control the news. You don't own the media. They know exactly what information they're releasing, when they're releasing it, what they have the okay to release, how they're going to, you know, and this is just a testing phase to see how motherfuckers going to react. And so far, we're in complete compliance. They want to know what the breaking point is. This ain't nothing. This is just the beginning. Understand, the whole point of the reason why I'm telling motherfuckers this is because drop the fear. Because they already know what they're doing. You have to know what you're doing. What are you doing? Peace and prosperity to the family.